Yeah, I don't get that cold, but yeah, like usually like right now I told you like we don't even have the heat on, and like the coldest it's gotten, I know some people are gonna be like, man, you are crazy, but like the coldest it's gotten was like 65 in here, but that's
Oh
like
my God, wow.
that's only like at night. So like when we're sleeping in the morning, like right now it's like almost 70 in here. So
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
it's pretty comfortable, and like we haven't turned the heat or the AC on, and I'm just trying to like save some money on utilities, you know?
I love it.
Why
It's
not?
been it's been so mild, so I shouldn't complain. But it's like, I don't know, 30 degrees today feels like 24 or something like that. 72 degrees.
24? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Pino, hi.
You know, say hi to the Gainz Podcast Nation. Oh, 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 oh.
So cute.
All right, say goodbye.
It's time for dinner.
No, not yet. Remember we're an hour behind, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's she's got like 3 more hours. She only eats like she can't graze because she's a beagle and she
Yeah.
annihilates food once you put it in front of her. So, um, yeah. Before we start, Roman, just so you know, I'm in a little
That's,
mustache challenge. So, how's it looking? It's like
that's so nice, man. I forgot.
you what?
Yeah, I forgot what it was like to have a dog that had like an appetite because um, are we a
Oh,
couple years ago? She was when I was home. I would get up before like my mother got up like and she's like already like playing like house beats and stuff like that. Like she's a crazy lady. She's wicked funny. Shout out to Ma. But so I would go and I'd feed Fido and Carly, the new dog, and I'd have to stand by Fido for like 10 minutes. And I'd just keep on like pointing to the food. I'm like, it's okay, buddy, you can go eat. It's okay, buddy, you can go eat. Before we like actually start eating. And then Carly's over there. She's already eaten her food. She started to eat like whatever bills my mother has for this week, and then she starts like munching on the like the freaking cabinetry. So I'm over there like, no, Carly, and she looks up and she's like, what did I do? I'm just hungry. So it's good to have a dog that has an appetite again. That's Carly. She literally eats everything in sight, including the cabinetry.
yeah, that's so. And is Carly an adult yet, or still a puppy?
Um, she's like a year old at this point now, so I think
Okay,
she's still
so
technically considered a puppy.
yeah,
She still has a lot of puppy-like behaviors, but I mean, she knows that she's like not supposed to do that, but she does that I think because she's like bored. Because she's like a really intelligent dog too, like super high energy. Whereas
yeah,
Fido is just like an anxious dog, like he just gets anxious over everything. But he's like old now too. He's almost 10, so he'll just come and he'll just sit behind me when I was like working from home.
yeah.
Carly would lie down for a little bit, but then she would like go out into the living room and you would just hear papers rustling. So I'd be like, oh, I'd be on the phone with a customer, I'd be like, oh, do you mind if I put you on hold? I just need to check to make sure my dog isn't eating like all the paper in the house. They'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, the dog loves paper. So I'd like run out and she'd be on top of the dining room table, just looking at me like, hi brother, what's going on? You know, all excited, like, Carly, down, no. And she would like have like my mother's like electric bill in her mouth and like spit it out, you know. She's like running around with like the electric bill in her mouth. She's a
Hopefully,
ball of energy.
hopefully your mom doesn't send checks in for her bills, because she'd send the check in referencing like the bill, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it'd be bite marks there, bite marks there. There's like some weird liquid like stain right there in the middle from slobber. Like,
I I think she still does. So the utility company is probably like, what the heck happened to this bill?
this lady loves paper.
Yes.
You ever watch that show My Strange Addiction?
Uh, yeah, actually, I've seen some of those. I actually knew a woman that had pica syndrome, I think is what you call it, and her thing was chalk. She would eat like pounds of chalk at a time. So she like would deliberately, since like I took like classes with her in college, she would deliberately like she'd have to go to the classroom beforehand, and if the classroom had like a chalkboard, she'd have to like drop out. She was like, I can't do it. Like if you drop chalk, I will eat it. And the teacher would be like, what? Or the professor would be like, what? She'd be like, yes, I have pica syndrome. Like I have an uncontrollable urge to eat chalk.
So So quickly sum up what you just said. What's the definition of that? I've never heard of that. The actual
It's
like the
so
actual yeah.
I think it's called pica syndrome. I think it's PIKA, but I'm not 100% positive on the spelling. But I'm pretty sure pica syndrome is involved with like an over fascination with like the consumption of like inanimate objects. So usually it'll be a like a fixation
Yeah.
with like a somebody with pica. I've heard their like fascination was pennies, so they wanted to always like have a penny in their mouth and like kind of feel like the raw like nature of like the copper penny like on their tongue, like under their tongue, just in their mouth. And then they just started experimenting with like eating them, so they would like swallow them so they could like kind of keep it with them. And like the person ended up having like a piggy bank's worth of change like in their gut by the end of it.
So
It actually can be like very, very dangerous. And
so is that pretty much like all like the symptoms like for every person on that show, or do you not?
I don't know. I'm sure different people have different like issues going on because like some people are OCD on the show. So like some people's like obsessive compulsive disorder might be like washing their hands because they want to like get all the germs off their hands, and like they'll show you your hands and it just like it looks like they've like been a burn victim on their hands because they wash their hands so much they've essentially like rinsed off like much of like the natural oils, and their like hands continue to like scar over like the scar tissue. So it depends on like the person. So I've seen a few episodes. It's kind of interesting. Is it still going?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know.
Okay.
I brought it up because I was like, well, maybe they thought your mother was, had a paper fascination or, whatever.
Maybe. Yeah,
But
maybe.
you know what, Roman? Whatever. Who cares, right? But dude, it's 2021. We're back at it again for a whole new year. Roman, I'm excited, man. I know you are too. If you guys haven't noticed yet, but Roman looks like he lost a few hairs off his head. Looks like he's got that fresh cut going on for the new year. New year, new Roman. He's finally back with his partner that could cut his hair, right?
Yep.
Is that the hair situation?
Pretty much, yeah. But I said I want to try like growing out the beard and seeing what like not much hair up here, a lot of hair down here looks like. So we'll see how beastly I can get this to be.
Yeah, you're starting to look like if you threw a pleather or leather, whatever your choice, jacket on, you look like one of the guys in Sons of Anarchy kind of right now. I feel.
Nice.
I can't.
Bike gang.
Yeah, but you're definitely in a bike. I can't even get a haircut right now because my person who used to cut my hair for free is in Illinois. So.
Oh snap! Yeah.
So I guess I'm growing my hair out unless Sam wants to pick up on cutting hair, which we've talked about. I refuse to pay for haircuts. I haven't paid for a haircut my whole life. I had a hairstylist as a mother, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
I think I've paid for maybe one or two haircuts when I was a kid and I was like, oh, I want to go to a barbershop. I want to see what a barbershop haircut looks like because, barbershops have their own style. So, but anyways, Roman, What the heck are we talking about? New episode of the new year, buddy. What are we talking about today?
Talking about music. Should you use it when you're working out? Should you not use it? When should you use it?
Yeah. Isn't that an interesting topic to go over today, Roman? Like, I feel like no one talks about it too much. I mean, I know some people do. Some people are religious about not listening to it. Just the other day,
leave the gym if they don't bring their headphones.
I was gonna say, Roman and I know someone that actually left the gym physically because they didn't have their headphones. You know what? Hey. I've been in that situation too. I didn't leave the gym, but hey. Also, too, what's so crazy about this alignment of doing this episode today, too, is I was on Instagram and, maybe someone was listening, maybe the government, whatever the case may be, but a post about and I don't know if I sent this to you, Roman, but a post of like gym music, like was posted today about like, oh, like how, gyms want you to look while you're listening to their gym music, and it's like playing some like goofy like, radio song, and then it's like Larry Wheels deadlifting 500 pounds for reps, like Arnold doing the T-bar row, and like Ronnie Coleman squatting like 800. But it's like like Taylor Swift in the background. And it's like where did the gyms go wrong when it comes to them playing like elevator music in the chain gyms compared to like what people listen to in their headphones, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of safe. I don't know if I was a gym owner what I would do. I'd honestly like you do like hip hop another day or night. Just I don't know. I feel like it could give like people something to look forward to. But yeah, I mean, you're never gonna satisfy everybody. Some people are gonna want to come and bring their own music. So I feel like that pop music that you usually hear in most gyms is probably the safest bet.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and then maybe it's more welcoming because like you then you go to like a powerlifting gym, and then like there's like some heavy metal or like heavy like rap music, and then the person like that wants to sign up is like, that was me stepping away, folks. But but in reality, something I wanted to go over too, like Roman, and it fascinates me to this day. Like, we joke around saying like, people will leave the gym if they don't have their headphones. But do you think there's something about like bringing your own, like, and it doesn't even have to be music. Like I've seen someone throw down weight with JRE in the background, and I'm like, oh, this person must be like very like honed into their energy. But like, like, does that give like someone like a better appetite for the gym? Does it help them boost themselves in the gym? As well as does it help them like getting to their zone? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research. So I did pull up an article, and I've looked into this a little bit in the past, just like out of curiosity. But I think much of the research, at least that I've looked into, looks at like endurance activities. So it still might be like resistance exercise, um, but it would be something looking at like whether somebody's able to like extend like the endurance, or if they're able to like expend more energy because they listen to music. So the paper that I perused through last night was effect of music on exercise performance and heart rate among young adults. I don't have a date on it, but I want to say it was like fairly recently. So I'll just go through the abstract a little bit because that pretty much had like the majority of like the interesting results. So it's 25 males, 25 females. They look and the exercise time duration, music was 37.12, I believe, minutes, 6 minutes, and that was 22.48 minus 10.26 minutes. So anywhere between like 32 and 12 minutes, essentially. So that was pretty interesting. That's like on par with what I've heard in the past and what like my personal experience is as well. If I have some music to listen to, if I'm going for like a run, for example, I just feel like I can go for much further. Whereas when I'm not listening to music, unless it's like a very scenic route, or if I'm like very diligently like training for something, but if I'm just like, oh, I'll just go for like a leisurely jog, which I don't do anymore, but I did a lot in the past. I would be much less inclined to go harder. So my intensity, even though because I'd always do a loop, so you had to finish the loop. Like I would do like a 3 or 5 or 10 mile loop. So if you're 5 miles out and it's 5 miles out of the way, like you're gonna finish the loop either way. But when I listen to music, when I listened to music and recorded my times versus is like when I didn't listen to music and did record my times did seem to be faster when I listened to music. So for like the duration aspect, I definitely think that it can help. Now, I think that it's important to note, like before I go into like resistance exercise training and the benefits, if you find that you're music, unless you're exercising like purely out of enjoyment, but if one of your goals is like a fitness related goal, like you have a benchmark, like let's say you're just getting into squatting and you want to be able to squat 95 pounds for 3 reps, for example. If you're always listening to me, I think that you could potentially be missing out on part of like the learning experience. Because when you are listening to music, sometimes you're tuned in more to the music as opposed to the activity that you're doing. Some people they might be totally fine and they wouldn't have to like listen to that caveat. But I think many individuals should try, if they haven't before, if they have a specific fitness goal and they typically will only listen to music when they're doing that fitness goal, try and mix it up 50-50. Sometimes you listen to music, sometimes you don't. I would venture to listen to learn a whole lot more about what feels better, what movements are like more knack, and you'll start to learn about like economizing that movement. So if
and what you
your
hear
goal
for them
is to like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like if your goal is to like, grow your biceps or like your side delts or something like that, I think if you tune out your music from time to time, I think you'll be able to connect better to that, like that muscle group, for example. So for like a bodybuilding goal, I think that's definitely really important to tune out. And like an important note that I wanted to make is I think if you're always relying on music to get yourself psyched up, if like you're a powerlifter, for example, you actually might need to look at that as a recovery metric. So what I mean by that is if you're constantly having to listen to like death metal to get you like psyched up for like your next like squat session or your next like squat set, and you find yourself doing that more and more, and you find yourself like beat up, but you're like, I just gotta keep pressing through it, man. Like I gotta do this. I have this goal. Like I'm going to break like a 500-pound squat for the first time. I would use the fact that you're always having to listen to music to get yourself psyched up, that you're like maybe burnt out, maybe like in need of a deload. I say that's like, that can be hard for some people to say like, oh yeah, I'm like a little bit up, but like I'm doing fine. Like when I do the movement, it's like nothing hurts, like very specifically. I find that if like you're always having to listen to music to get yourself psyched up, then you might need to take a step back and take whatever the appropriate corrective action is. Deload, maybe like take like one rest, extra rest session, whatever it might be. But yeah, use it as like an indicator that you might be undercovered.
Yeah, and also, guys, if we get 10 plus likes on this video that we upload, Roman will do a 10-minute pig squealing video on his YouTube channel. So if you already listened to this long, you're like almost 19 minutes in, like that button, like because I know Roman hasn't said yes to this, but this will keep him, a man of his word when it comes to the pig squeal for 10 minutes. But no, Roman, other than that, sorry, I always have to throw a joke in there. But other than that, like, yeah, Roman does have a point. Like, it's kind of like it, to make it more relatable too with like lifting. And Roman and I probably been at this moment, this point in our lifting career since we've been lifting for quite a while. But like it's kind of like that job, that job where you wake up, you put the alarm on, you're like, man, I don't want to wake up for that, or like, man, I gotta get coffee, I have to blast so much music or whatever to be excited for work, or all that good stuff. So it's kind of like that where you just kind of like have to take a look back. The job thing might be a little bit more serious than just lifting, because lifting you can kind of just stop. With working, it's like, hey, I have to either find a new career, new spot, new place, go get more education. So but yeah, all good points there. but yeah, like with music and whatnot, I'm a firm believer because I love music that either which way of like lifting, I think I have an understanding on how the body works. So Roman, that was a good point to bring up when it comes to like newbies or like newer lifters, because see, the thing is, I didn't think about that when I first like, we talked about this subject, because when I think about music, like I've been around music my whole life where I put in so many hours of listening to music, or like even podcasts where like I'm just like so in the zone, and it just makes me, that's part of my who I am. Like I've been listening to music ever since I was a kid. My father was like huge in the music, so like like it got me so further to that realm where like I'm listening to music while I'm working out, like if I'm walking by myself. So it's like, something like that's always important to me. But like that piece on that newer lifter is important because like, you know, how are you going to know that, something sounds a little weird when you're lifting, or maybe for some reason, like you're so into that song or into that podcast where you squat down, your knee is actually shifting this way the whole time instead of staying parallel. Then what you see is if you keep shifting like this and you put that same song on while you're squatting, then you do, your PR set. What happens when you do that PR and for some reason your knee just goes like this because your hip is just so weak and whatnot? So something like that with like powerlifting is so important. Another note too to say is with the powerlifting side. So from my experience from like that powerlifting meet I did, um, you know, they didn't really have. They did have music like when like there was warm ups, and I also brought my headphones, but like to say that like lifting with music was like something that like I wish you could do at a powerlifting meet. Like it didn't really matter too much because like I've mentioned before, like when we were there, like the zone you're in, the concentration you're in, and the people around you, like you kind of find that inner motivation. And I think that's gonna happen to a lot of people that are more into lifting, kind of like us, Roman, because the fact that like you know just because we like listening to music doesn't mean love lifting is like another thing and like another whole realm. But yeah, like we were joking about earlier, like you might leave your headphones at the gym or at home. You might not even have headphones that are charged on you. But like usually back to like the original part we started Gainz podcast, like the reason why you walk into the gym, you take that first walk in the day is to be a healthy, better person, if it's fitness, job, mentally, all that good stuff. So even if if you drove to the gym, you fry your headphones, or if you're not, on that point where if you're not like feeling the best, but you still lift to your utmost efforts, like you lifting without headphones, you probably are still going to hit the same numbers, and you just don't know it because like a lot of people, especially during these COVID times, no one's really talking to each other. A lot of people are tuning themselves out with headphones because they are still in their zone and their self being. But like you still will be able to do what you can do, and that's why I want to do it too, because music has been such a big part of my life where like I know if I want to, like if I live to a Roman, I wouldn't be listening to music. Why would I want to do that? Like the whole experience is like Roman and I wanted to like spend that time together, lift together, and be able to be better, being healthier. So that's my little rant on that portion, Roman. But that was very nice that you brought up about the beginning lifters.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like really important that like hopefully no matter like what your fitness goal is, like I think the underlying goal should be that like we're all looking to like ensure that we have like good solid health type situation. I think it's a tool just like anything else, so it can be used to augment and runners, for example, or like in my example when like I used to run, I found it personally beneficial to run. So, you're like deep into a run and like your knees start to hurt, like your butt starts to hurt, like your arms start to hurt from all like the pumping. And if you can focus on more that you really enjoy, I think like socially and culturally, we're very like, and like, oh, yeah, this is nice, I'm getting into this. And then like you tap back into that like pleasure side longer. And if you're okay and you have trouble with running for a period, be still there are certain when you disconnect from. So for example, I would run with headphones intentionally sometimes so I could do more breath work. So I could focus on like, okay, getting like out, in, etc. And like focus on the tempo, because the tempo is really important for me so that I wasn't like, hyperventilating. Like you hear like a lot of people when they're running on treadmills in the gym and they're just like out of breath the whole time. And that if you're doing that. So especially as like the runs start to like lengthen out. So for like anybody that's in some sort of like duration or endurance like activity, like definitely use some music to augment, but make sure like you're like you're not using it when like you don't need to as well, so that you can work on other tasks. And the same thing with like bodybuilding, for example. Like you might have like certain like lifts or workouts that like are really just going to kick your butt, and like you might need music to get through it. But if you find you're overly relying on that, then there may be a lot of things that you're missing out on. Like for example, you find that like over the course of a year, your goal was to like develop your lats a little bit more, and you're like, man, I'm just like not connecting with my lats. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it is. I'm not injured. Like I feel like really good and healthy, but I just feel like I'm not connecting to them. Well, maybe you should take out the headphones and really focus on like a slow control contraction, hold the muscle, and then like a nice like eccentric, those kind of things. Music can be also used, I think, as a crutch for people, especially if they just get into the habit of like, oh, I always bring my headphones, always put my headphones in. It's like my time to tune out. Well, if all your goal is to just like kind of tune out and to like, get like some sort of a mental release, that's totally fine. But if you have a specific goal, then it may benefit to augment your time in the gym or whatever your fitness related activity is using music, but then also split your time not listening to music. That's my take on the whole thing.
Hashtag tune out people 2021. Before we end this, Roman, I do have a question for you. What is your favorite PR song when you have to get a PR song going to go ahead and get that heavy number? And and we all been there. We know that song. Roman, what's yours, if you don't mind me asking?
It's that song. It's like, wake me up before you go. No, just kidding. It's 2 Weeks by All That Remains.
Oh, All That Remains. Wow.
Yeah.
I forgot that you knew like old school hardcore stuff.
Yeah. That sounds so dope. Like when it when it finally gets going, it's like, when you look like they're coming out of me, I said you're stronger than this now. I'm like, let's go. That's what, like when I'm squatting, like, and I'm like, yeah, going for like a PR. You better believe that song's coming on. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, I'd have to say Down with the Sickness by Disturbed or My Last Serenade by Killswitch Engage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're talking about like one of the first albums by Killswitch. With Jesse as the lead singer, which I think Howie was a pretty great lead singer too. Both of them both had great lead singers. So. Yeah,
absolutely. It would be interesting to listen to what our listeners' PR songs are. So if you've made it this far, thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate you. Put your favorite PR song in the comment section below. If you're on YouTube, I'm sure the other podcast platforms allow you to do it. You can always when we post on Instagram on Friday telling you, hey, check out this awesome podcast, you can message us in the comment section there. That's totally fine too. We want to hear from you folks.
Yeah, and also make sure you guys like that, because Roman will make a 10-minute video of him pig squealing. I mean, he might lose his voice for like a whole week, or might get like laryngitis or something.
I'll have to listen to music to get me through those 10 minutes.
Dude, you could make your own music. We know you have a guitar.
That's true. That'd be awesome. I do a screamo acoustic song.
Yeah, just do like Stairway to Heaven just in pig squeals. That's probably like 10 minutes, isn't it? That's right. Isn't it like 10 minutes?
Pretty much. It's like 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, just do that and then do your own take afterwards or something.
That would be so funny, man.
Oh, God.
And as I walk down the road. Oh, man.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers to the New Year, people, and we'll see you on that next one. Peace.